Well, guys, Chelsea are out of the Carabao Cup. Um, Arsenal have beaten both Chelsea in two legs, 3-2 at Stamford Bridge and 1-0 tonight. And the aggregate score is 4 goals to 2. And yeah, also in the final. And that'll be the first time since 2020 they've been in a major final. Because in the last 6 years, they failed to do so. They failed to do so. But yeah, that curse is over, and Chelsea are the only team to do it, which I ain't surprised, because PSG beat Arsenal in the semi-final, so did Newcastle, so did Liverpool, so did Villarreal, and I think that's it. That's all I can remember. But yeah, Chelsea are the only team to break that curse. So Arsenal could potentially finally win a trophy. They could potentially do that. And who's forward going to be? Chelsea. But the main issue is not Liam Senior. And by the way, Liam Senior, yeah, I'm not gonna go on him too much. I really ain't. But I think Liam Senior, I hope he learns from this because he rotated for the game against West Ham, and we got lucky to win that game. He did the same thing tonight, and we've lost. So let me tell you guys what the lineup was. So we had Robert Sanchez in goal, and we played a 5-3-5-2. So basically, we had um Hato as a left centre back, Chalobah in the middle. Who else was playing? I forgot. Yeah, Hato, Chalobah, and Fofana. Yeah. Then we had Kukueya as a left wing back, Gusto as a right wing back, Enzo Fernandez as a left eight, Caicedo in the middle. Um, who else? Andre Santos as a white eight, and then the two up top of Joao Pedro and Liam Delap. Now I'm very surprised, yeah, they went to this 3-5-2 because yeah, if Chelsea were to win that game in the first leg, and then we decide to you know, play a back five or back three in this game, then I understand. But you need one goal, just one goal. So for me, yeah, I think Liam Messina got the lineup and the tactics wrong. Because to me, yeah, I didn't understand why Reece James was in the squad because before the game, I looked on Twitter. One person was saying that Reece James was rested, but then Liam Wissinger said that him and Pedro Neto um was late for the fitness, and that's why they're unavailable. So I don't know who to believe, But either way, the fact that that Lingman Senior didn't go for a proper the fact that we played this game without any wingers didn't make any sense. It really didn't, you know. And if we don't have wingers, then who's going to support our striker? Because look at Liam Delap here, you know, this guy is too slow, but we haven't fed the ball to him that much. And every time we gave the ball to Delap, he keeps on fouling players. But guess what, people? Liam Delap was playing as a white winger, and I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm so confused because Liam Delap is a striker, not a winger. So that's why for me, Liam Senior has got this Delap completely wrong. Don't get me wrong, the tactics was okay, but if we would have won this game at Stamford Bridge and then we decide to go for this 3-5-2, then I understand because we're in the lead going to the Emirates Stadium, and yeah, if we play like a back five or back three in this game, then I understand. But for me, I feel like we should have gone to a back four or 4-2-3-1 like we usually do. And for me, Kukuwe should be starting as a left back and Gusto as a right back in this case, and both of them to overlap because you can see the game against West Ham when Kukuwe come on, he was inverting, and he was, playing as a left half space. Sorry guys, let me just mute my phone for a second. Left half space, and he was really good, and he even scored a goal. Even Gusto was a part for that second goal. So for me, yeah, I think Lewis here should have gone to this 4-2-3-1 and having both our fullbacks inverting, so that it will allow both our attackers to be further up top and cause a threat. But he didn't do that. The fact that Cuckoo is playing as a left wing back and Gusto's a right wing back didn't make any sense. It really didn't. So I think for me, Liam City got this wrong. But in terms of the players today, I mean, I think Robert Sanchez, I feel like the goal that we conceded, for me, I feel like he should not be off his line like that. That's the only thing I will say. But, but the thing here, I didn't understand is that Chalobah was the only player in the penalty box, and he was up against Martelli and Kai Havertz after Declan Rice made a good ball in, and then I saw this on TV, and I had to say to you guys, and I'm thinking to myself, why is Enzo joking for? Why is he joking for? Like, when it's two up against one, that that means that team will have plenty to. That means they have more chance of scoring. So why did Enzo Fernandez allow Chalobah to be the only player? Why can't Enzo Fernandez not mark his man? Just make a one, not jogging. So for me, Enzo should have done better, and so did Sanchez. But for me, the fact that Chalobah was in that situation in the first place didn't make any sense, because you have no way of either marking Kai Havertz or Gab Martinelli, because it was 2v1 in the 96th minute. So for me, the goal that we conceded was an absolute disgrace. It was an absolute disgrace. But for me, apart from that Chalobah, where it was on his own, I thought Chalobah had a very good game today when it's up against Madueke, because Madueke was really, really poor. Really, really poor, and even up against Ray Sofana, he was poor. Every time he put the crosses in, it was out of play. And Madueke, they take on this man a few times, but for me, he wasn't that great. I think Chelsea defense today was absolutely solid, but it's not only Chalobah. I thought Ray Sofana was really good when it was up against Gabby Martinelli, because he knows that Gabby Martinelli is a very good player. Very good player. And there was one time, yeah, where Gabby Martinelli heads it, and I think it's either Chalobah or Ray Sofana that makes a no, actually Kukue made a really good block. I thought Kukue was really good today. I thought all of our defense today was solid. Hater was really good. Kukueya, all of our defenders was really good. The midfield, I thought Caicedo, at times just was okay, but not that great. I thought Enzo had a good game. I thought João Pedro was okay, but the only problem is that we didn't give the ball to him that much. But like I said, the fact that we played no wingers in his team didn't make any sense. And the fact that we played a 3-5-2 and both Gusto and Kukue was playing both as a wing back while they then overlapping didn't make any sense. You know what I mean? I thought Santos had a good game, but Liam Delap was awful, man. Was really awful. But like I said, I'm not going to blame Liam Delap because he was playing as a right winger and it didn't make any sense. When I saw the lineup on TV, they showed he was going to be playing on the left, but he's actually playing on the right, and that didn't make any difference at all. So for me, Liam Senior has really got to learn not to rotate. I need to put players in the right position. Listen, I'm glad that Garnacho didn't start. You know what I mean? But for me, yeah, I would have started Estevao on the left and Palmer on the right. Because don't get me wrong, when these two came on, they had a bit of an impact, but for me, they should have started. They should have started. Cole Palmer had a free kick that hit the wall. SFL looked a bit lively, but there was some times where he made fouls and give the ball away. So both of them were okay, but I don't think both of them made much of an impact. And yeah, let me just tell you guys what the subs were. So let me just have a look. So where is it? So I'm just trying to find yeah, so yeah, first substitution was Esteval on for Joel Hato and Cole Palmer on for Liam Delap. And in that time, we played the back four. And that means that Kukue was playing as a left back and Gusto was still overlapping. And then Esteval was on the right wing and Palmer, funnily enough, was actually playing on the left half space. And then Garnacho came off for Santos because obviously Santos was playing as a left winger. And then Josh Ajapon came on in the 80th of the minute because Malo Gusto look like he's injured. Now, I'm not quite sure how serious this is, but if Gusto is injured, then for me, Reece James have got to be in the squad for the game against Wolves, because Wolves are fighting for their lives. They're looking to get that revenge on that 3-0 defeat at Stamford Bridge. So Reece James has to be in that squad. I don't want to hear, yeah, that he's been rested again. Unless he gets an injury, that I understand. But for me, Reece James was not injured. So that game against Wolves, he needs to be in that squad and he should be starting. You know what I mean? But listen, Chelsea, we tried our best. Our attack today was poor. Every time, we give the lap on the ball. And every time, there was one time where Enzo Fernandez gave the ball to the lap and he was slow. There were other times as well where we failed to cross, and whenever and when it comes to Arsenal defense, they handled it really, really well. Because every time we pass it to Palmer, he loses the ball. Estevao does it as well. Even Garnacho as well. So for me, Lewis Senior, I think he deserves a little bit of a criticism, but for me, it's not his fault. It's not his fault because this squad ain't good enough to compete with Arsenal. And like I said, we spent all this money to not compete, at the top of the table. So like I said, Liam Messina deserves a little bit of criticism, but he's not the main issue. It's the owners, because the giant transfer window has been an absolute disgrace. The only good thing that we did is bring back Mamadou Sarr from Strasbourg. That's the only good thing we did. Other than that, we only signed one player, and that's the 17-year-old. We didn't sign no proper winger, no striker, no defender. We allowed Liverpool to get Jeremy Jacket before us. And I don't blame him rejecting Chelsea. Because which player want to come to Chelsea right now? Tell me who, especially in the mess that we're in. Tell me who. So I do not blame the players that want to go to Chelsea, but they change their mind. So for me, yeah, listen, I hope Lewis here does well, because you know what these owners have said. They expect Lewis here to get top five, and if that doesn't happen, then it'll probably be the next manager sacked. So Lewis Senior, if you're watching this right now, listen. I think next time, just don't rotate and put players in the right position. But other than that, I'm still not gonna say sack him and all this and stuff, because he only lost 2 games and both of them were against Arsenal. And I tell you what, yeah, that first leg killed us, because if we would have, you know, let's say, win that game and we went to this 3-5-2 formation, then I understand. But for me, I think that tactics did work, because if I read you the stats at halftime, this is Arsenal's attack, basically at halftime. Look at this. Victor Gyökeres had the fewest touches at halftime, which is 3. Noni Madueke 14, Martelli 15, and Eze 16. And that's their attack, This their attack. So the only good thing Chelsea did was limiting Arsenal's attack, because we all know that Madueke can be a good player and cause a threat. Martinelli, we saw Victor Gyökeres starting to score goals, Eze as well. But like I said, good thing is that we kept these attackers a little bit quiet. But listen, that just turned up for nothing, because we've lost that game 1-0. Havertz comes on, and scored. And I just knew that after this feeling that Kai Havertz could come on and score, because he loves scoring against Chelsea, and he even celebrates, you know what I mean? Like, of all people, Kai Havertz scores to make Chelsea go out and Arsenal through. Owners, this on you, mate. This on you. It's either you change the model or you leave the football club, because you caused this mess. You caused this by not bringing in players that are better, than the previous one. Estevao is our only best winger in this club. He's the only one. And that tells you everything you need to know. We spent 40 million on Garnacho, 50 on Gittins, And Estevao is our only best winger in this club. That just shows you that the project is a failure, the ownership is a failure, and Chelsea are no longer a serious club. And yet again, it's another game where we simply cannot beat Arsenal. And you know the worst thing is, we got them in 3 weeks' time. 1st of March, 2026, Sunday, at the Emirates Stadium. So that's going to be great, isn't it? And I don't see us winning that game as well. It's probably going to end up being 1-0 again. And this is the third time in a row we haven't scored at the Emirates Stadium. The last time we scored at the Emirates Stadium was under Frank Lampard when we lost the game 1-0, and Madueke scored that goal. Ever since then, 5-0 on the Poch, 1-0 last season, and 1-0 tonight. And it's going to be the same thing in the Premier League. You know what I mean? So, listen, I ain't surprised. I ain't surprised because I knew we got no chance. I knew we got no chance. And like I said, if Liam was here, he could have changed his tactics and he could have started Esteva and Palmer for today, then maybe I'll start being a little bit confident. But listen, what can I say, man? We're out. We're still in the FA Cup and the Champions League, which is good, but if I don't see us winning it, I really don't. But let's see what Liam Messier can do. I hope he proves me wrong because I expect Chelsea. My expectation is for Champions League and win a trophy, but honestly, don't see that happening. I really don't, and it will be an absolute failure if that happens. But like I said, Liam Messier is not the main issue; it's the owners, and I hope people that can accept that. You know what I mean? So, listen, the first trophy is over. We've got two left, so we'll see what happens from now till the season. But yeah, that's some match action done. Congratulations to Arsenal. I knew they'd go through, even though their attack has been very, very piss poor. When I look at their bench, the players can come and make an impact. I look at our bench, it's only Esteva and Garnacho, and that's basically it. So what's the use, man? What's the use? That's the difference between Arsenal's owners and our owners. Because Arsenal owners care and our owners don't. It's as simple as that. That's all I'm going to say. But people, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Um, how do you think of Liam Messier for today? Do you think he should have done better? What do you think about the players? Who played well and who didn't? And yeah, man, how do you feel about Chelsea being knocked out? And if you're an Arsenal fan watching this, congratulations. The semi-final curse is over, and you could potentially win a trophy, unless Man City or either Newcastle can stop you from doing that. So we shall see what happens on the 22nd of March because that's the final. So there we go. But yeah, people, next game is away to Wolves. Hopefully we can bounce back and win that game. And yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, make sure you guys like, share, comment, subscribe. There's a boy Light Talks Football. Thank you guys so much for watching. And yeah, see you guys on the next one. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And yeah, in a bit, people. Peace. Up the Chels.